Hey, welcome. Today we're diving into those amazing corners of the internet where we're not just reading information, we're actually creating it. We're talking about the world of user-generated reference sites. All right, let's get into it.
So, here's what we've got on deck. We're going to start with the big picture, what user-generated content even is. Then we'll zero in on reference sites. After that, we'll check out two really cool case studies, the wiki and the forum, and wrap things up by looking at where you fit into all of this.
Okay, so first things first, let's lay the groundwork for everything else we're going to talk about today. What exactly do we mean by user-generated content?
You know, I'm willing to bet you've already been a part of this. Have you ever been on a Wikipedia page and thought, hey, I can fix that typo? Or maybe you've posted a question on Reddit or left a review for a new phone you bought. Well, if you've done any of that, congratulations, you're a content creator.
And that brings us to the official definition. User-generated content, or UGC, is really just any kind of content. We're talking text, photos, reviews, you name it, that's been put online by the people using a service, not the company that owns it. In a way, it's the internet being built by its own residents.
Now look, UGC is a massive, massive category. It covers everything from your Instagram feed to YouTube videos. But for what we're doing here, we're going to zoom in on a very specific slice of that pie, user-generated reference sites.
So what makes a reference site special? Well, the whole point of it is to be a source of information. It's a website that is created and, this is the really important part, maintained by a whole community of people who are passionate about that topic.
And inside that category, we're going to look at two of the absolute classic examples you see all over the web, wikis and forums. And they might seem kind of similar at first glance, but you'll see their jobs are actually very, very different.
All right, let's jump into our first case study, the wiki. Now, when I say wiki, your brain probably goes straight to Wikipedia, right? And for good reason. But the wiki model is used for so much more. Think of huge fan communities cataloging every single detail of a movie universe, or even internal company websites for managing projects. At their heart, they're all collaborative encyclopedias.
See, a wiki is built from the ground up for people to work together. The whole idea is that any user can add new stuff, but they can also tweak or build on what someone else already put there. It's a living document. It's never really done. It's always being updated, corrected, and yeah, sometimes you get those famous edit wars. This whole evolution is completely powered by the community.
And hey, here's a fun little fact for you. The name wiki actually comes from the Hawaiian word for fast. The creator chose it because he wanted to highlight how quickly and easily people could create and update pages. Kind of fitting, right?
This really breaks down what makes a wiki tick. It's elegantly simple when you think about it. You need member accounts, right? Not just to track who changed what, but to build accountability in a community of trusted editors. Then you have that big, beautiful edit button. It's more than just a button. It's an open invitation that says, hey, we want your input. And of course, as the knowledge base gets massive, you absolutely need good search tools so people can actually find what they're looking for.
Okay, let's switch gears and look at our second case study, the forum. If a wiki is like a collaborative encyclopedia, then a forum is more like a huge, organized library of conversations.
So the main job of a forum, which you might also hear called a message board, is to host discussions. It's a place for people to get together, ask questions, share solutions, and just talk. Think about those huge communities on Reddit, or maybe a super specific message board where people restoring old cars ask for advice on a hard-to-find part. That's a forum in action.
And the basic life cycle is pretty straightforward. One person kicks things off by starting a new topic, which creates what's called a thread. Then other members can jump in and contribute their own thoughts, which are called posts. And in a lot of forums, the community can then rate those posts, give them an upvote or a thumbs up to push the most helpful answers right to the top.
Now, to keep all these conversations from going off the rails, forums have some really key roles. You've got moderators. They're kind of like the referees of the discussion. They enforce the rules and keep the conversation flowing. Then you have administrators who can do everything a moderator can do, but they can also manage the site itself, like promoting a helpful user to become a moderator or adding cool new features.
And of course, to keep these communities safe and from turning into the Wild West, forums have some essential safety tools baked right in. This is stuff like automatically censoring certain words, giving users the power to block or ignore people they don't want to interact with, having a clear set of rules, and really importantly, a system to let members flag or report posts or users that are breaking those rules.
So we've walked through wikis, we've walked through forums. Let's bring this all home and talk about the big takeaway from all of this.
If you remember one thing from this, let it be this simple difference. Wikis are all about building a single shared body of knowledge, like one big encyclopedia we all write together. Forums, on the other hand, are all about discussing shared interests. They create a library of many different conversations and opinions. So one is for building, and the other is for discussing.
And that leaves us with one last, really big question to chew on. In these incredible, community-built spaces where pretty much anyone can add to the pool of information, who's actually responsible for making sure that information is true? That's the challenge that sits right at the very heart of the user-generated web. Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.